Oh my goodness, here we are. Yes, episode 36. This is On the Road, in the Waves, and on the other side with your host, Paul Carpenter. Episode 36. This is going to be with Patt Sloan. I'm super excited. In moments, we're going to have him come up and we're going to have him join. And I'm, like I said, excited about this show. And excited about this episode. Pat is a musician out of Houston, Texas, a jack of all trades, he calls himself. And honestly, I can't wait to hear more about the entire thing. Bringing him on any second now. And there he is. Let's bring Pat on to the show. And there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Patt Sloan. Pat, thank you for joining us today here on the Road, in the Waves, and on the other side.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
I've
been following your progress. It's pretty cool, man.
Cool, man. I'm super excited that you've been watching some of the episodes, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to get some other people in for you too. I've been talking to some people hey, check him out, man.
Hey, this guy's doing some weird stuff over here.
Doing some cool stuff. We need to have him, dude. I love it. I'm loving it.
Thank you, man. I honestly appreciate that. It's weirdly one of the first times in my life where I've done a project like this, just off the cuff.
Uh-huh.
You know, they say fail brilliantly or fail amazingly, I think is the way, or something like that is the whole statement. And it's like, yeah, you know, I've failed so many times in so many ways and so many things. And this is honestly the first time where I feel like the universe or people around me or whatever it is are like, dude, you're doing this right. Whatever it is that you're doing, it doesn't matter where you're recording from, inside of a box or outside of the forest or inside of the thing. That's not the thing. There's something else that's going on, and it's really cool. And I've been getting a lot of those messages. So thank you, Pat. I really truly appreciate it. So let's do this, bro. Patt Sloan, who are you? What are you about? Let's find out, man.
Well, so okay.
Where are you from? And, how did you get here?
Man, basically, I could go as far back as you want me to go.
Yeah, man. Start off. Where were you born and raised? Let's go for it.
I was raised in Seabrook, and I haven't really moved. I mean, I've gone through. I've had some interesting, childhood situations that involved I went into foster care and stuff, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I grew up here, ended up staying here, and met this huge crowd of people that started, and this will kind of segue into my musical life also. But my dad is a musician. He's played for the Clear Lake Symphony. He's been a extra for the Houston Symphony, and he's the one that taught me everything I know about music. And growing up in this area, there were open mics in Seabrook. They had the Cock and Bowl where they did open mics. There was Coffee Oasis was a huge one. I don't know if you're familiar with that scene. That was what
100. I used to play in all those places. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Those were the places that I just so happened to live. I mean, I lived right behind Arlen's, if you know where Arlen's is, right behind there, and was walking distance from Coffee-O, and would go there all the time. Met this huge circle of just some of the best musicians I've met in my life, and I've still somehow over the years we've just stayed in contact. And that's actually where I unknowingly met the guitar player who unfortunately we just broke our band off because he had a huge opportunity out in Arizona. So he's doing crazy shit. He's opening a coffee house in Arizona. But unbeknownst to me, I met Austin Kaiser and like we started this awesome band, and we like, dude, it's crazy. And like, I don't know, man, just when you meet these people in these scenes and they stick with you for so long, and you just do these, like, I didn't even know who he was back then, because like he was just the guy at the coffee shop, and then years later, like, we met, and I was like, oh, you like worked at Coffee-O, and like you like were serving me coffee, and like, holy shit, and you were like doing, like, performing in the open mics, and you were like holy shit, I never like even knew that. And he was like right there. It's like one of those weird like full circle, but yeah, so that kind of gets me into like, I've noticed the scene has kind of died in this area, like it's been not as like prominent for like really cool, like, dude, because that was like those were some pretty good open mics as I remember. And that's something I've been trying to.
Sorry, I know that Alex Arouse was doing. I don't know why my mic turned off all of a sudden. I'm trying to turn it back on.
I can hear you.
There you go. Yeah, no, I know you can. Alex had one at Union Tavern that was amazing, absolutely amazing for years. And then I'm not sure what happened or what, but like, yeah, it kind of died, and it moved more towards central Houston to I don't remember the name of the place, but it's like, and I've played there a couple times, but it's in the back of like an old house, and they have you stand on the. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a place downtown. Everybody knows it. If you ask anybody, like, where's the open mic over yada yada downtown, they're like, oh, it's that place. Super well known.
Nice.
And then there's like, so what else was another open mic? I think they have a new one at Bones, which is above Scalp Bar.
Yeah.
So they have an open mic going there, and I think that's the one that used to kind of be at the Union Tavern, and it's that vibe, those people, and they moved it. And they've tried to have open mic at Bones and even Scalp Bar for years, but it just doesn't stick.
It's I feel like it has to do with the fact that, like, when a big venue like that, it's like they're too big, like, I mean,
no, it's not. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think that that's what it is. It comes down to the community, brother. It comes down to the community that, they want to either support or don't want to support other artists. And unfortunately, Houston fosters a mentality of I'm out for myself, and because everything is so spread apart in Houston. Yeah. Okay, this is the why. It's not like people are bad people. That's not the idea I'm trying to put across. It's that unfortunately, there's this I'm an island, I'm by myself, and I have to create all of this stuff over here with my 2 or 3 friends or 4 friends. Yeah. And then I have to take all of this stuff to the place, the venue, to show it off, whether that's music, whether that's art, whether that's whatever. And so it doesn't foster a place where you can have 5, 6, 7, 8 artists that are all living in a commune kind of mentality, even if they have homes, but they come to that place to make the art.
Right.
There isn't something that fosters that in Houston. And if there was, that would foster art shows and music shows and art music shows and food and art music shows. And it would just foster everything from that place, because those artists who are all together would work in conjunction to say, okay, well, that guy's a graffiti artist and I do pottery and this person does this and whatever. But if we put all of our stuff together as a group and make a show, then we can get Pat to come and play music, and we can get this other person to do this, and then maybe we can get this venue involved. Before you know it, it becomes a thing. But if you're by yourself, right, which is why I tried starting Houston Artist Collective, the New Orleans Artist Collective, which are all like groups on Facebook. I have the Tel Aviv Artist Collective, and I'm willing to make an artist collective of any city in the United States. Austin Artist Collective. Why not, right? And if you just look up whatever city you're in, Artist Collective, you will find a group on Facebook. Yeah. Now, is it going to be a good group?
Who knows?
And if it isn't,
and it doesn't have to be. It's
but if it isn't, then make your own group and invite your friends, invite the people that are in your community, people you were talking about, invite them and tell them to invite their friends and say, hey, this is the place for us to post our flyers, post what we're working on, post our TikToks, post our this, post our that. So collaborate. Hey, you film? Fuck, I need somebody who films. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know how to do TikTok videos. Can you show me? Fuck yeah, I'll come right over. And then maybe that guy can film content about him teaching other people how to do the content.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so then it becomes a thing, dude.
Yeah.
If you play it that way, it can easily become a thing. And then then you have community. But if you have everybody, like I said, in their own little city, like Seabrook or Clear Lake or Friendswood, which are all 20 minutes away from each other, right?
But it's like they feel far, like
right. And so it's like, yo, you come to my rehearsal space, and you're like, bro, rehearsal space in South Florida? I mean, in South Houston, like in Pasadena or whatever, or even wherever. And you're like, dude, that's far, bro. And then you're like, yeah, well, why don't you come to my house? And you're like, well, then that's far from me, bro. And it's like Houston's hard to work in the sense of that kind of. So that's why you have these big hubs of art, if you will, like in Houston. So like, what's that area that's like right by 59 and 45? That's the comedy club.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That whole little space right there fosters a bit of Houston because it's the first spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's another one on the other side.
It's like
that's on the north side of Houston. It's like a hub.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that? I didn't hear you.
Edo too is like East Downtown, like those little like niche little neighborhoods that they have like a whole vibe all to themselves, and it's like you just have these like separate communities that
satellites.
Satellites.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying, once again, that's what makes it hard. Whereas if you're in New York and you can be in any one of the 5 towns in 45 minutes on a subway. Okay, maybe an hour, right? But that's way different than I have to go all the way from one point of Houston to another in a car.
Yeah, it's an
and I don't have a car, or this guy's got to come pick me up and then drive, and then we've got to come over here, and then we're tired.
And now we've made this whole thing, but it's probably also an economical thing too. Like, I mean, it's all think of how much cheaper it is to hop on a train in New York than it is to drive.
Oh no, 100%, 100%. It doesn't. It's not made to be easy. Houston is not made to be easy. So that's why you have these satellite style locations like Clear Lake, which has its own, semi-national venue.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can go up to Houston, and then you've got a lot of semi-national venues. Like your House of Blues or your, small arena theater, which will hold
music hall,
or White Oak Music Hall, which is a semi-national. Right, they don't have like super national acts. It's not like they have like Dave Chappelle shows up at.
They're not like NRG or like Minute Maid, which those are really like the big like.
Yeah, those are like if you're huge and you're selling tickets, and you're selling out 20,000
people to show up.
Right, exactly. I mean, and then you're like Joe Rogan or something, something ridiculous. So so that's what I'm trying to get at, in the sense of like, that's why I believe that those things are happening in Houston, and that's why I think Houston, in some way, it creates amazing talents. You can't say that it doesn't. Look at all the people that have come out of Houston that are amazing talents. So you can't say it doesn't foster good talent, but it doesn't it doesn't like every single person that you can find that's very well known from Houston, I think, except for maybe like Paul Wall, has left Houston to become famous.
Right. And that's kind of
like maybe they learn their technique or their thing or their skill or whatever in Houston.
Yeah.
Sure, you can do that. It's a big enough city to learn anything from parkour down to rap or up to whatever or sideways to this. You can find it in Houston, right? But that doesn't mean that you're going to have the quality buyers that you would have in New York or Miami or LA that can then foster your career. The billionaires, millionaires that can then go, oh, you're that kid from Houston. I heard about you.
Exactly.
Here's the money you need now to go become famous. Here's the producer, or here's the this or the that you needed that you couldn't find in New York. Yeah, no
here's
problem.
Your
I got
media
you.
guy. Here's like your social media guy. Here's like all your things that everyone needs.
And again,
because it's a lot to manage by yourself.
Once again, not that Houston doesn't have some amazing. There's like J&D Entertainment, which is for instance, they're nothing more than like a corporate party supply company for entertainment and such and so forth. But they're one of, I think, top 20 in the United States. Why? Because they're from Houston. 2, they're one of the biggest, and so. Because of that and the numbers that they're doing per year and the amount of parties that they do, corporate parties, because there's really no one else to go to.
Exactly.
And then, and you're in the 4th largest city in the world. But then what does that do? It fosters really, really bad side business for Houston. What do I mean by that? Those companies are out for making money. They don't care about anything else. So corporate company comes in, and corporate companies have massive budgets to do shows or to do a private party or to do whatever. And so if they are paying $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to rent a venue, have the food, have the entertainment, have all the lights and balloons and whatever accoutrement that they want upon their party, then they're willing to spend a certain amount of money for that budget, right? 30, 50,000 does nothing for them for one night for the award ceremony. And I've heard of budgets of $200, $300, $400, $500 million for end of year celebration. Well, they'll bring in for $150,000, $200,000 a really big name brand, U2, whoever, 50 Cent. You've seen it all the time where, they're at their corporate events. So that kind of thing. Yeah. So those people go out of their way to make money for themselves.
I mean,
to show that they that's what they do. Like, so they'll hire a magician, but they won't pay the magician's rate. They'll say, oh, we only pay this much for our magician per hour. And you're like, but that's not my rate for corporate. And they're like, no, we'll find somebody else every day. And then, so what does that do? That fosters really shitty talent.
Yeah. And it's I mean,
straight off the board, it fosters really bad talent.
Yeah.
So what that means is that the people at the corporate level in Houston are getting below grade, not the best corporate entertainment. And if they are getting really good corporate entertainment, they're getting corporate entertainment at a value that's much lower than what those entertainers should be getting paid for. Where if you go to a New York, if you go to LA, Miami, the ratio of pay is exuberantly out of reach, and it's the 4th largest city in America. Yeah. And so these are the problems of what you're talking about. This is it comes from all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom. It's not a community based. Yeah, but then there's other artists in Houston, one in particular that I can think of that's doing it at the corporate level, making a secure bank of money, is an artist and and he does murals. And he also does like large art projects.
Wow. I will say Houston has been trying to show off like a very artistic, like I've noticed they like when I'm driving down like Westheimer, every business has started just like making their like their storefront like pop with some kind of mural or like art or like a message that says like something
So
that's
Houston
like
Strong or blah
yeah,
blah
or
blah
like
blah, some kind
whatever,
of
you know,
graffiti. Right,
like
because the thing is that that's the modus operandi now of all cities in the United States. So that came right after the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop. So
I haven't seen
what
that.
happened? Okay, so Exit Through the Gift Shop is a movie about Mr. Brainwash, the graffiti artist and artist raconteur, if you will. And the story is about a guy who owned a secondhand shop of clothing. He found a way where you could buy bulk clothing, and I mean bulk, like bundles of clothing for $100, $200.
Oh wow, okay.
And then what he would do is he would go through these bundles of clothing and he would rank them as, you know, the most expensive, rare piece of t-shirt and blah, blah, blah. And also a little added loopy on top of that to the piece of crap clothing that you would never wear that probably smells and has, you know, whatever. And so then what he would do is he would take the most expensive, badass stuff and he would put it in the store that he owned on Melrose Avenue in the middle of Hollywood. And the most coolest, best dressed, you know, people of LA would go to his store. Now, during this period of time, he also would always carry a camera around and film everything. And
is that the guy that he like did a bunch of the art for like Hoonigan? Like, what's that dude's name?
Mr. Brainwash. His name's Mr. Brainwash.
Mr. Brainwash. Okay.
That's his like his go-to name for the thing. And then he also created, I believe it's called the Life is Beautiful Festival that happens in Las Vegas. And now what that whole idea is bring a bunch of artists to one city and have them do legal graffiti on legal territorial places that you want them to be because they're the best in the world at what they do.
Right.
And they're going to come in and for 1 week, we're going to have a rave and we're going to have this and we're going to bring in all this extra money to your businesses and da-da-da-da-da. And all these people are going to come and we're going to sell art. So now all the artists of your city can come and do and come to the art festival. Boom. And so that's a great idea. And so that all the other major cities in the United States start doing this. Now, Art Basel, which happens in Miami, is $15 billion in art sold in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Right? So in that 2-week period, it's the same exact thing. They have every graffiti artist in the world, and they have this new area, and that was the rundown area of Houston, just like Edo used to be. The run-down part of Houston. And what do? They super gentrify it. They bring in a ton of money. And then what do? That's the area in Edo where the wall is, the graffiti wall, which is that one building. It's very well known now. And why? And every year, that whole building gets redone. Why? This exact concept. So that all these artists can go traveling from city to city all over the world, literally all over the world, and do graffiti and do their art, and they have now this circuit that they can go on.
Wow.
You know,
I didn't know that that's how that whole thing in practice started. That's insane. That's really cool.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah. We got Valvez BTW. He's my first ever comment from Twitch. What's up? Thank you for coming in. Valvez, by the way. Valvez. How you doing? He says, "Hey, what's up?" And, yeah, right. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching there on Twitch. This is On the Road in the Waves, and on the other side with Paul Carpenter here with Patt Sloan, episode 36. And we're having a good time kind of doing this thing, trying to figure out the art scene and what's up.
Figuring out the art scene, talking about, and that kind of leads me into, I'm currently like, I guess this is a slight plug, but I'm starting an open mic at a coffee shop that's in Nassau Bay.
Nice.
And then the owner has been super cool, and he's building a stage specific for it, and he wants to do like every week he wants to trade off doing like comedy, like stand-up comedy, and then doing like poetry, and then the next week do music, and kind of like alternate between those. And
yeah, is he only wanting to do one thing a week? Is that what his thing is?
So that's kind of I think so.
Because I could see that being 3 nights a week. So you do like
I could too,
open mic on a open mic on a Thursday, or open mic on a Wednesday, then some kind of comedy show on a Thursday or Friday, and then Saturday you have a main act, if you will, that maybe is caught from the open mics. So it's kind of like, hey, you come to the open mics to do whatever. You go to the comedy show for community, just for everybody to be able to, right? And then on Friday night, there's the whatever I just said. And then Saturday night, there's the band or the act or the whatever that comes out of these. And so what does that do? Right. So it gives somebody a place to grow. Right. So even the open mic could be a comedian. Hey, you're really good, dude. Can we have you on tomorrow night? On Friday night? We have an opening. And so it gives this fostering of creativity into the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that guy looks good to the community. Because of course it's a place where everybody shows up and everybody wants to be, because it's constantly having this growth idea, and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday, people are going to be there to practice. People are going to be there to maybe get together and rehearse.
That's exactly what happened like at Coffee-O, was people just come and bring their guitars and sit there on a whatever day and hang out. It's like, oh, hey, let's go jam at Coffee-O and just drink coffee and sit and hang out and chain smoke cigarettes for 4 hours while we go and figure out a place where to get high on, smoke weed. And,
right. I mean, in the end, what is a coffee shop? What is a coffee shop in the end? What is it for? For community, it's the modern day watering hole.
It is the modern day watering hole. It's where people.
Even on dating apps, when you want to go meet somebody, you go, oh, let's do a coffee. Why? It's the easiest, simplest thing. You can walk away simply at any point in time with your coffee in hand, be like, oh, didn't enjoy myself with you in this interaction.
It's safe.
It's public. It's simple. It's safe.
Yeah.
It's the modern day watering hole. Yeah. So once again, if you can maybe bring that ideology and approach to him, he might be like, oh yeah, it's better to do it, every day of the week, because then it fosters this.
I'm trying to get him to do like, so he's kind of toyed with like some open mics there where he's like had like I think a school came, like they had like a high school, like a private Christian high school or whatever. They came and like did some open mic, and it was just kind of run by kids. They didn't even have like a PA or anything. It was just like it was literally like a boombox, like karaoke machine thing.
So does he have equipment or no equipment?
So that's where I come in, because I have like my full,
and you're charging him that
and everything.
You're charging him?
I am. Yeah, we're
okay. You're working out a deal with him.
We're working out a deal, and I want to do it right, and I want to like make it something that is to the tier that it should be for people to want to come. And like I said, he's making a stage, so obviously it's like he's implementing like a permanent thing so that it can like be a setup. And then I bring
here's what I offer to you that I believe that you're going to need to make this work and work correctly. A stage, sound that is quality sound.
Right.
2 speakers, a good soundboard, nothing crazy. Yeah. Nothing more than maybe 10 channels tops, which it seems like you have a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
I know. Bear with me. Just let me projector.
Ooh.
Angled out and from above down, so that even if the drummer is there, the projector goes behind the drummer, so that now you can have whatever you want behind them, whatever world, whatever stage, whatever anything.
Yeah.
Right? And it's super easy to put together what I just said. Projector at the roof, angled down, and you're coming like this, and then when you do the later on inside the projector, it has the ability to change the angle of it so it fits perfectly, and then that way when they're playing, you could do theater there now, you can do scene changes now very simply, right? So now you could create an actual space of art, of all kinds of art, not just musical art. You can do stand-up comedy. You can put a brick background with the guy on stage, bro. Like in 2 seconds,
easy. Yeah,
you can do. So these ideas will be very simple. And then also, when you're not there, the computer that's connected to the projector can have a video series, the logo of the company, that just plays all day long with no sound. And just you see different things, or it shows the hey, Monday night is this, and Tuesday night is game night, and Thursday night is open mic, and Friday, and it just has this nonstop thing there. So that, and then it says the times, and then when it is playing, it turns into something else. So that's a nonstop use projector, $200.
Yeah, I actually have one.
Top in today's world.
Yeah,
for a pretty damn good projector that you could even buy used for $200.
Yeah.
So, and that would be an awesome, and a laptop that connects to it, so that now you can even have people who want to come in and do keynote speaking. You can have like TED Talk style things there. Build community, build from that space. If it is the watering hole you're talking about, then make it the ultimate watering hole. Even for corporate America to be like, hey, why don't we go to that coffee shop that has the stage, and Cynthia, you can give your talk this week. Hey, maybe we can rent out the place. And then that guy's now making side business on renting out the venue.
And it's funny you say that, because NASA goes and does meetings there all the time, because they're right across the street from NASA. Yeah. And they go there and do like their business meetings.
And then all you're doing is, and then if you want to go a step further, you in the back wall, you create three tubes, or one big tube, half tube, and it has 3 rolls in it, a red, a white, a black, and a green.
Oh yeah.
And then what you can do is you can do one camera setup, green screen VR in the location, and now you can do from the location, recreate it in the metaverse, and I don't know, whatever, and do a nerf of the coffee shop, and then slap that into Blender, throw that into what's a world that you can use for free, but anyways, and then you could have live shows that you film live and reproduce into the metaverse. And then you could have your coffee shop in the metaverse. And then you could have people who, when they speak, they're also in the metaverse. And then they have talks where they could, and that could all be from that location. And it could also be connected to NASA, because you're connected to these cool new things that you're doing that nobody else is doing, that no other coffee shop is doing.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about now and spending is a very small amount of money.
Yeah.
You can go find, you can go get PVC pipe if you want to make the cheapest version of this. Yeah. Three things of PVC pipe on a board, piece of wood with 3 holes in it. Okay. And then you're going to put the PVC pipe on either side. You're just going to roll it.
Yeah, literally roll it.
With weights on the end. On the very end, right? So when you pull it out, and then it just it flops down, and then that's going to be your thing. And then if you need to clean it, super easy to take the PVC pipe, pull it off, clean the green screen, put it back on,
and roll it back up.
Easy. Done. So everything's easy there. And then to make that look good, you get one big piece of PVC pipe, right? That goes over that, and then they all slide out the bottom.
Oh, cool.
Does that make sense?
It's like a sheet.
So now it's covered on the wall.
Yeah.
to make it look good. You do an L cap on the inside of the thing so that it's ink like that, or like this way, boom, boom, like that, so that the shell is this way, and then you just tap it there, zink, or downwards L, like this, like boom, boom, and then this would be the inside of the cap, and then that would go against this piece would have the drill against the wall. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If that was the wall,
it totally makes sense.
And so then you spray paint that black. Boop.
Done. It's black wall.
And then you have this awesome thing where you can now have a black wall, a white wall, or a green screen. And then on top of that, on the white wall, you can put whatever background. On the wall, right? You're right. If you put that white wall down, you then have symphony orchestra behind you. You have Times Square. You have
whatever.
And then if you want to get weird and cool, you get into projection mapping of that white space. Yeah. And then you go even further and you take that white space and put it onto the actual stage. And now you have two walls to play with. Go a little step further and put in walls on the side. And now you pull the projector back and now you have like all, 3 walls. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to stay here, you could still do 3 walls in the floor or 4 walls. So one back, these 2 sides, and the bottom from down approach. And now you can have from the audience point of view, somebody running through a box or turning, all that cool stuff that you could. It's not hard to put together with projection mapping. If you just there's a couple apps that you can use to do it. Yeah. And then you could have some cool stuff. But at the very base level of that, the simple level, projection on the wall, gives dates and times of when things are happening, changes the wall to whatever you need for that event, also open for talks and whatever else, and a background wall for someone to be able to talk and have this thing that pops up, and it's like while they're talking, it's their whiteboard wall.
And they can have their computer, we're doing a keynote, so we're gonna put this keynote up here, and
and then all you need to do need to do after that is J. Manuel Mendez liked the channel, the video. Thank you, J. Manuel, for watching. Then all you have to do at that point is figure out how to import Apple and how to import Android. So you have a board that's an import board, so that when somebody goes, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I got it, bro. I've got every import cable thing that you could ever want. Yeah. What do you need? Yeah. Oh, I've got this and this. No problem. Click, boop, bloop, and it pops up, and it's just tink, right? So if you can get to that place where anybody who comes to you is right on the fly and is able to, or someone is there, i.e. here's your job and this is how you get paid. You rent out the venue, you need someone to work the equipment. We don't let anybody touch our equipment. The only thing we're going to let you do is have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards, which are the normal boards we have anyways for our open mic, for our bop, for our, right? Which would be super easy for even the manager or the guy who works there on the weekend. When you're not there, they couldn't do it. They could be like, I got the comedy board, pushes one button and it's done for him. But anybody else who comes there is going to screw the fucking thing up because they don't know what they're doing, right? Or they'll try to put up something else and it'll turn into a thing. And you didn't hire our guy. You don't get to do that.
That's like who was it? Zach Tate. Do you remember Zach Tate? He was the guy. For however many years, it was only him that ever ran the Coffee Oasis open mic. And he owned, I think he was super adamant because I remember there were times where it would get canceled, which was super occasional. And it was canceled because he wasn't available and the equipment was there. The PA was the house PA and all that. But I think he brought the microphone.
Now that's another... Zach Tate, and no offense to him, right? He did really good in Houston.
Yeah,
but
Galveston, I think was his main scene actually.
Right,
he from Galveston,
and he did really good. As you want to call a local musician who's making $100,000-$200,000 a year, running around doing his thing. I think that's where he was. He was doing quite well.
Yeah.
But why? Because he was working his ass off, bro.
Yeah. It was fucking.
He was doing 3-4 shows a weekend. He was doing the open mic. So he was getting he gets paid for the open mic, $250, $300 for the open mic. So that's a job weekly. Think about it, right? Then you get paid, $1,000 maybe once a weekend by a good venue, and then $200, $300, $400 for all the other venues you're doing. But you're doing 3 of those a weekend.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at $2, $3, $4 a week. Minus you pay your guys $100 here, $100 there for each show, and you keep the rest for yourself. So now you're looking at $2,000 a weekend.
Right.
But that's $2,000. That's what, $8,000 a month. That's what, 80 some odd thousand a year.
Yeah. Maybe
more, maybe less, depending on what merch, side stuff, hustle, whatever you can pull out of your ass.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not easy, bro. It's not easy to be an artist in America, anywhere in the world. And it's hard. You have to find a way to hustle your ideas, hustle your move.
And that's really what it is it's like a self-branding. I think I was watching who was it? I think you and Dusty Hayes on one of your previous podcasts was like, y'all were talking about like the Houston scene. I was like literally in my car driving. I like turned it on for a second because I was at a red light, but y'all were talking about like how if I remember correctly, how it's really like a self-branding, like trying to get yourself like do a thing that's cool that no one else is doing that involves people. Because you were talking about like we want to make like a thing where it's everyone is like it's inclusive to the artists, whether it be stand-up magicians, musicians, poetry, whatever. And we want to get this because it's all synonymous. It's all entertainment. Like that's
the thing is and you can't do any of it by yourself.
Right.
Like you could be a musician and you could be a great musician, but if you want to go do a show at a venue, any venue, you need the people at that venue to make you look good.
Right. Yeah.
You need the crew of people who bring in the equipment. You need the people who know how to put that equipment together. You need the people who know how to do the lighting, that have done lighting for 20, 30 years. Or you hire your own team that follows you along because they know the cues, they know the jokes, they've done the rehearsals with you. Why do you have rehearsals? You have a team of people that you can work together, that you've hired, that make something work every night.
Yeah.
Now you can do it that way, or you can go be a busker in the streets.
Yeah.
And go do street performing in the streets. Can you become a famous comedian off of the streets? 1,000,000,000% TikTok. Go do it right now.
Yeah.
If you think you're funny and you think you're going to be funny in front of a room of 20 people, then I want to see you be funny on stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Yeah. Because that's
you'll learn very quickly. Right. You'll learn very quickly how hard that is.
It is. And like I haven't even like attempted getting anything. And that's exactly what you're saying it's really about getting these people that know what the fuck they're doing to like progress this, like we had like setting up a camera during like a concert, right? Like that's what we've done before. Like my band, we've like set up cameras, we've like recorded it. It comes out like subpar, and it's not like something we're proud of like releasing, but it's all we have, so we release it, right? And it's not like the best, and it's hard because it's like all these other like what you're competing
you're not catching 2 recordings is what it is, Pat.
Well, yeah, you're not getting the audio.
That's 100%. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's your biggest thing right there, is that you're not catching the. If you were to be able to sync the audio recording from the board,
right,
and sync your video recording, bro, you would turn around and be like, "Yo, this video is the shit." Because we sound like, dude, you fucking, that was awesome. Because you knew it. If you knew it in the show and your audience knew it in the show, but you didn't know it in the video, it's because the video's off in some way.
Yeah.
Not because of the lighting may be off, the sound may be off, but something gets off, and then all of a sudden the whole entirety of the thing gets off to the emotional experience.
Right.
And look, it happened to me last night. I did my first show in a very long time for a private house, and it was awesome. I did an amazing magic show, and I offered to do a hypnosis show at the end. Now, and I offered the sound guy offered me his microphone, and I was like, yeah, sure, if you don't mind, I'll use mine, and I'll also have my mic, so we'll have both of them going.
Right.
Now, the way that the guy set up his speakers was that the speaker was like pointed straight at me. So anytime I moved, it dolphin peaked.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to do hypnosis.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find my gauge. I'm trying to find my gauge of where I can walk and where I can talk while I'm doing my hypnosis, because you have to walk and talk and do a bunch of, you're kind of engaging the audience, and you're pantomiming a lot of the actions and things that you want the people to do, and there's movement. And bro, for the entire 5 minutes that I'm trying to do hypnosis, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to listen to the sound of my voice. And I mean, come on, and every so like.
It's like a practical,
Let's just fair to say, hypnosis did not go very well last night.
Damn.
And
it happens, And that's just poor audio engineering, which, by the way, that's another whole rabbit hole we could get down into.
But once again, what was the conversation about? You can't do this by yourself.
Exactly.
Sure, could I have cut the microphone and then just say, hey, can you guys hear me? And go that way about it? Sure, I could have gone that way about it. But, that's not the
and that's what I was saying is like setting up a tripod with like my phone, just doing like a recording on my phone of a concert. It's it worked, and it's good.
That's not true, man. From the right angle, even like if you did the right angle, like if you had one of these like gorilla grips that I have, which is one of those like things that has like 3 legs and grips everywhere, dude, you get a cool weird angle from the top of the thing looking kind of down at the stage with everybody there,
everyone,
and then cop the audio, do a sound record audio from the line that's your output line, and then cap that for you before it goes to the speakers, right? Or, whatever. And then boom, now you have something. You don't need to have a million. It might even be even cooler that you have this one view that nobody else has, that you get to see. And it helps maybe even you and the audience figure out what works better for you.
Yeah.
Like when the audience is more in or not in the, in the feel of the show or whatever. Or if the show feels like it drops, why did it drop? What did he say?
I've always liked doing a audience perspective from where you can still see the audience, like as if you're standing like in the show, but you can like see part of the so it's like you still feel like you're there. But then,
like from the sound booth, like get a GoPro, bro. Get a GoPro and set it up on a sound booth.
Yeah.
And like right in front of the guys that are doing your lights and everything, just right there, like at Scout Bar, if you will, boom. And then just right there where you have a great up across view of the audience and you guys. It's a perfect, nice shot.
I used to do, when we did White Oak upstairs, we would like put it, I don't know if you know that like guardrail upstairs where it goes backstage. We would put it like right in front, right up next to the stage, where you could like still see, like you kind of got like a straight shot line of like the whole front of the stage, and then with everyone like standing on stage and the drummer and everything, it's like everyone's kind of placed, but then you see all the people standing up at the stage,
like they're watching or be involved or whatever.
It's like you're part of like the whole, because that's the front of the stage is where the audience like really does all their cool shit. Like those are the people that are the most engaged with what you're doing, and it gives like the best like immersion from like a camera's perspective to like do like experience that. And that's kind of what I was like going with.
No, it sounds like that's the shot. What we're talking about, either is top down or this thing where you see everybody. And if that's the case, then the only reason it's not good is the sound. I'm telling you, and it's because all you hear is and you don't hear anything. Of course, it's going to make the audio. It's going to make the whole experience more less enjoyable. Whereas if you could hear the okay, you'd be like, dude, this is a fucking pretty good shot. This is a damn good shot. Man, I wish we had 3 GoPros so we could switch from shot to shot. One of the drummer, one of maybe on the guitar where the guy's playing and it has that shot down of the fingers, something like that. And then you can now shoot show videos.
Yeah, and like different angles. You can put everything, edit the whole thing,
and then produce pop live. Find somebody who can produce pop live and edit it live while he's watching the thing. He's watched the show already live. He's already been there. He's part of your team, whatever. And then he knows, okay, boom, we start here, and this cuts to 3, 3 cuts to 4. Oh, perfect. 5, 6, 3.
Yep.
2.
Boom,
5, and it's just right, boom, 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 and it's just all he's doing is cutting, and then from there you have this amazing piece of content that you can then say, hey guys, we have a Patreon and we filmed our show for you in Houston at White Oak. We did a great job, we feel, and we'd like, if you want, since you're part of the Patreon already, you can go get it before we ever put it out on YouTube, and we're not putting it out for another month or whatever. And it's just for you guys or whatever. And then you put out content, that's short form content that's of that thing that you created, and then hopefully people will come to your thing and want to see your stuff in the future.
Yeah.
And then there's the other idea of making TikTok videos. And I've talked about this before, but something that expresses your music without you fully expressing your music.
Yeah, so that's hard because you get 30 seconds.
It's really not. I'm going to give you 2 really good ideas. Okay. So the guy is a singer and he has his best friend who's a guitarist, and they walk around LA. Yeah, go ahead, please. And he's dressed up in a suit and tie, and his friend is in a suit and tie, very nice looking. And he starts, he gets his guitar, and they obviously have a speaker there, and his friend starts playing guitar, and it's dun 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 dun, something like that on the guitar, right? And so this guy starts going, late night, I was always going. And everybody who's at this stoplight where they're filming this TikTok, where nobody's paying attention to them, like people will be like, or the girl will look at like. And then what they do is they do super close-ups of the reaction, super close-up of the reaction. And then he goes, oh, sorry. My voice is, let me try that again. His friend goes, and he goes, late night, I was staying up now, I can. And then everybody then turns around and goes, oh, shit, he's really good.
Yeah.
And then that is a link to their SoundCloud, which is their song. Right. And then you, at the end of that, 1 minute clip that you're seeing, you see, you hear with the logo of the album, the actual clear audio of him playing and singing that song. And then you go, oh, that's interesting. I want to hear that. Click and immediately go to him. And if you don't, you watch the next video.
Right.
And so, and
I feel like that's one thing you've actually gotten down really well, because like I've met you at one of Alex's parties originally. I don't know if you remember, but it was a while ago. I met you but I've seen you kind of grow from there. This was a while ago. I don't know if you probably don't remember.
Sure. But, you're talking about, you're not talking about Alex Morales. You're talking about Alex Trujillo.
Yes. Fat
and it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was a big party, and there was a lot of people there. Yeah, sure. I remember.
Yeah. And we but like I feel like I was
doing magic at the table, at your kitchen table.
Exactly. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I remember.
And you but like, so like from even then to now, I feel like I've seen like your social media wise, like I feel like this is what I was getting at. I feel like you just have the like social media thing down so well. And that's like, I don't know why, because like I'm young, like I'm 26. And
I definitely don't. Let me tell you, I don't have it down. I wish I have. Listen, I have the knowledge.
It's good content.
I love you. Thank you. This is different. This thing that we're doing. Okay.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know if you know, right? But if you followed, but like 2-3 years ago, I did 365. So I had one every day, and I did like a talk. Oh, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. And I don't know. I was trying to create content, right? And then I missed it by 3 days. I met this girl, went on this crazy adventure, whirlwind, jail, and bullshit, and whatever.
Shit. Wow. Happens.
Stealing cars, fucking Bonnie and Clyde during the pandemic type shit. It's called Apocalyptic Romance. Please look it up on YouTube. Romance Apocalyptic. Anyways, so what ends up happening is where was I? I totally lost where I was going with it.
I don't know.
No, I was telling you something about. Yeah, no, I was telling you about content. You were talking about content, how I might be good at it. Yeah. So I love marketing is what it is. And I love seeing and understanding how other people get famous through this thing called TikTok, a short form content video. I love understanding it. I helped build a friend of mine's like short form content like idea where he plays all the characters, and you literally get I learned that making that content is a ton of fun. Laughing the entire time and just stupidity. It's stupid fun. And I dare anyone that if they do the content correctly, if they just go out and find content where they see one person making all the content and promoting their music, just doing that alone is fun. Playing the characters is fun. Getting to play your mom, getting to play your dad, getting sister, imaginary characters, imaginary brothers, whatever you want. Yeah. And there's one guy who does it really well on TikTok, and he does something where he plays a flute that's made out of a carrot, and he's a rapper. He's a rapper, but it's really good setup. So the setup is all one room, so it's not hard. And it's first shot, guy sitting at a producing table. There's obviously a desk in his room. Second shot, swivel, door opens, guy walks in, same guy, dressed differently, like a rapper. Yeah. Says, I'm sorry, I'm here for my recording. And switch back, flip to the guy who's at the producer table, says, oh yeah, man, just right over there. Guy goes, okay.
Seen that dude. Yes.
I know you have. And he's super fucking famous. And not only is he super famous, he's now on tour with the songs that he's done from TikTok. And he even did a TikTok about, is he ready to do a tour? And what did he do? But a litany of all the TikTok songs he's done. And then you're like, oh, fuck, this guy is famous. Yeah. I have been watching him for 3 years, and I didn't realize
Didn't even know it. Yeah. And he's playing places.
And that's when you're like, oh, the door just got shot down. Yeah. And that look, there's the girl, I could be famous. I could be what's her name? Bro. What are you talking about, bro? Yeah. If you watch the original video, it's literally her on the floor of her bedroom, right? On the floor of her bedroom, it's like a triangle looking kind of thing because she's sitting on the back wall of 2 walls right there. And she's just doing her thing, doing her song. That song now on YouTube has 63 million views. She's on tour. She's this super like authentically weird, badass artist that came from like
from that.
I could be famous. Video. Yeah. I could be like this. It's so good though. It's so infectious, man. And I think it really is good, right? So it's like that's why it blew up. That's why it did its thing.
And I think the grandfather, like the grandfather that really was Bo Burnham. Like the OG part of that was like Vine.
Tom Green.
Who?
Tom Green.
Tom Green.
He's the original TikTok god, bro. So Tom Green had a show. We're talking 20, 25, 30 years ago. Tom Green had his own thing called the Tom Green Show, and it was a pod-based TV type show that was from Canada. And Daddy, do you want some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Yeah. And the video is him in a room playing a piano, and the piano has strings, and all of the strings are hooked with sausages. And every time he plays a note, the sausages are jumping up and down. And his dad walks into his living room, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" You know, it's just boom. So that's 1992.
That's crazy.
So he's the ultimate god of the short form, the crazy blah blah blahs of our generation. There's other guys that did really crazy. There's a guy I became friends with in the 90s, and at the time he was already 60. His name is Alan Abel. And Alan would go and do crazy shit in the news. So he would he did a campaign for clothing animals. And so he literally created an actual national campaign for clothing animals, created the whole back end for it, the company for it, the logos for it. And the logo was a horse wearing pants. And when he did the live, when he would do the live interviews, he would literally have pants that fit a horse, and the hair, the tail would come out, but the horse would be wearing pants at the interview. And he would be like, it's just natural, ladies and gentlemen. There's no reason that we should be letting these animals have their junk hanging out. Would you allow me to do that on television? No, but you allow the horse to do it. Yeah. And I just think it's wrong. And he would be so serious about the conviction of this thing, and then he did that. And this is 1960s, 70s. So there's always been these characters within time that
if you go far enough back, you even have vaudeville acts that that's what vaudeville was, right? It was just a quick, a condensed act, and there were a lot of them, and yeah.
All of the great comedians of the time, they came out of that era. Musicians came out of that era. Lots of comedians came out of that era. Because it was, it was the Catskills is what you did. If you were wealthy in America at the time and you lived in the northeast of the United States and it was summer, you would go to the Catskills, and it created once again one place which had a lot of different arts type. Look at how this episode totally it's so great. I love these episodes. I love these episodes. It just goes to show that it really doesn't take but one person, Pat. You could definitely be the guy, just like I was talking about the artist who I was talking about in Houston who does all these big art pieces. He does if you go to Galveston, have you seen the Juneteenth painting?
I haven't been to Galveston. Was it a recent thing or was it?
It's about 5 years old. His name's Reginald Adams, I believe is his name. And he is he's older, about 50, 60 years old, and he's into meditation and sound bowls and all that. So he brings that into his art. And then the second thing that he does is he brings in corporations into his art. So he gets big corporate sponsors. I'm talking real big corporate sponsors. Yeah. And then he goes and he does these massive pieces. And so that is a way of getting your art seen and known. And he's very big now in the corporate art. No, you're fine. The corporate art scene, if you will, of Houston. He's like the number one guy that people go to. For instance, like he had just had a new art piece that was like you get to walk through a labyrinth. Like those labyrinths that you're supposed to walk through to calm you and peace you. But he did his at night with LED lights and cool, and it's all in Houston right now. And that's it. So he does those kinds of things, but then he gets like Apple Bank to pay for it.
Wow.
Which is
that's some crazy finagling there. Like
it's smart business as an artist.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not finagling. He's playing the game correctly. I mean,
it's playing. That's what I meant. Like literally
playing the game correctly,
doing it correct. Yeah.
It's and at a really high level. So is it easy? No, it's not easy because what is he doing? He's playing the game on 2 levels, from what I understand, or the way I would play it if I was him, and maybe even 3 levels. Right. So the first level is you can go out and get a bunch of free money from both the city, the state, and the government. To do major, big, fat projects,
like subsidized projects that are
that they pay for it. That there's art subsidies from billionaires and millionaires that want Houston in particular to have an art defiant or art allegiance society. And if you can bring us your business proposal, your art project, and you can show how it's going to build a certain amount of people will watch it, so many people will visit it, this much money will be advertised on it, whatever, then sure, here's $250,000. We'll give it to you. So he does that.
Easy.
So then he can go, and once he has that, and he has the proof that he's going to do it for the city and this and the other, he can then go to a bank and be like, hey, do you guys want to sponsor this event? We're taking sponsorship packages of, anywhere from 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, whatever, and all the way down to, and we're going to do an event the night before the event of. So you're going to have the open red carpet. We're going to bring in other artists from Houston that are friends of mine who are going to be also doing a art auction, and then we'll also be doing a silent auction from other businesses who are also sponsors who are giving out different things. These people are giving a 5-day package to whatever. Your business can give a barbecue to whatever, and you can also pay us $5,000 and we'll put you on our wall. And when you come in that night on the red carpet, there's going to be photography and videos, and we're going to give you all of that content so that you can use that for your social media and show that you were involved. And of course, we're going to be doing that. We're going to do the press releases. We're going to send out 5 press releases during the 1-month period, before, a pre, 2 weeks before, 1 day of, day after, and then the 2 weeks after. We talk about how it did such a great effect. So we have a full media campaign package, plus we have Channel 11 News that's also one of the sponsors. And then of course any company goes, $50,000, sure, no problem.
Yeah, done.
We'll send our regional manager to come and be the guy who said, can you give us 5 tickets? Sure, of course, that's part of it. And you get free dinner, and you get this, and you get that, and you get to be part of the thing. Cool. Yeah. And on the night of, bring your little booth with the 3 employees with their shirts on, so that they can pass out the bank information, so people can go to your bank and become
members or do whatever,
whatever they want to do with the banking. They know that I do my banking there. Maybe they'll want to do their banking with you too.
Yeah, and then there's a sponsor.
So now you have. Now you're making money hand over fist here and here, right? So then on top of that, you now have value of your art. So if you have somebody who is your donor supplier guy, who's a multi-billionaire, millionaire that you've now met through these parties, now you two make a deal where he buys all your art no matter what he can do. And he goes, got you, bro. And we're going to set those prices at the kingdom. So then he goes now and he goes, okay, hey, dude, I'm having a art showing on this date, and I've got 20 pieces. How many do you want? The guy goes, Take 7 right now. Got it. And then on the night of, I'll probably buy a couple more. No problem. Yeah. So then he now can put out a press release that, look, I've already done an art showing, and 90% of or 70% of the art is already bought and sold by this awesome art collector who's blah, 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 and it sees the art that this guy's making and who he is and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And what does that do? That in the art world is the same thing. Like Andy Warhol had one buyer at the beginning of his career. He bought like, I think 80 or 90% of the profits. Everything. And so what has that guy done for 40 years? He goes to every public auction and overbids anybody and buys the piece, or has somebody else have to buy the piece at a bigger rate.
Wow.
So what does it do? He has this whole thing, Andy Warhol, and it has a certain value. If a new piece comes out that nobody knew about, that they found, or or whatever, or somebody sells a piece and it's at a public auction and it's not from his, he goes, oh, I want that. And I want it. It's 20 million. No, I want 25. Then the guy goes 23, 26. I want 27, 28, 29. Shit, I don't have 30. He has to buy it at 29.
Yeah.
So now the value of my art collection is worth more now because that one's sold at 29 million. So any of these pieces can now sell for whatever value more.
Right. So they
that's how the art world works.
Other. Yeah.
And that's how the art world works. That's how the Leonardo picture of him holding the ball, that just came out recently. It was very famous. It sold for $80-something million. Was bought in Houston or in Dallas for $1,500 at a house estate sale that nobody knew what it was worth. These two people who bought it were like, I think this is something here. Let's just buy it and send it to Julio in New York, who's our guy. And that guy was like, wait a second, I know somebody who knows how to do this radiographic see-through imagery. Let's go send it to her. She did it. And when she did it, she saw the original drawing and she's like, holy shit, this is fucking Leonardo, bro. Wow. She then sends it to France. France sends it to Italy. Italy then sends it back to the United States. And at that point, sells for $80 million at Sotheby's or some shit. So art is only what we believe it's worth. Period.
And that's how business, the main thing of business is simply it's worth an item or a product or a brand is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it, and that's what it is.
And that's it. And
that's it.
Yeah, it's it. Have you ever been in a Lamborghini? Have you ever been in a Lamborghini?
I've been in one. Yes, like the
were you impressed, or were you kind of like, oh?
I mean, I was a kid. I was
okay. So I recently got to ride the Lamborghini in Miami, and I'm not saying that the experience wasn't great. It was a convertible. It was white. It was cool.
There's a lot of plastic in it, though, right? Like it's like a Honda, like. Right, like I've seen what they look like on the inside, but they're like there's plastic. It was the most
okay, so you're telling me I'm gonna spend $300, $150, $200,000 on a car, and I get in it, and it feels like a high-end Toyota, or it feels like a high-end Nissan, or like it didn't give me the feeling of like I'm at the MGM with marble everywhere, kind of, or like I'm in this, like, you know what I mean? It didn't give me that in any way, shape, or form. And there's many times I could say in my life where I've gone to things that I envisioned in my mind as though, oh, that's gonna be like the shit, right? Like that's gonna be shit, and you get there and you're like, I mean, it's cool, but it's not. It's not what I, in any manner, thought it was. This is, how do people get so hyped up on this? Is my thought immediately after that, and then it's really
status. It's a status symbol.
It's more. It's the same like as why people got angry at the people not wearing masks. It's mass hypnosis. It is literally mass hypnosis. So Gucci gets a name because of the branding, the thing, and the people who wear it. It's all about how they take the money that they make and how they invest that money back into their business. And it's the people who do that the right way, i.e. like the Reginald way that we were talking a moment ago. Dude, those are the ones that you end up going, oh, how do you fucking make it, bro? It's like, I don't know, like many people don't know this, but there's, at the end of the Oscars, every year, every person who goes to the Oscars gets a bag. And there's a bag of goodies that goes in there.
Okay.
And they usually need like 10,000 or whatever amount of thousands to fill this bag. And you can, if you have a real company and a real business and a real whatever, you can take your item and put it in that bag and give it to whoever.
Okay.
And at the event, many times the artists will take the thing, put it on, wear it, and get photoed with your product at wearing that. And then maybe even afterwards, they start using that product.
Yeah.
Right? Just because it was given to them and it was like, yeah, it was in the bag.
Like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah.
Okay. And so that is a way of hyping your brand in a way of like, so for instance, like, Von Dutch, you remember Von Dutch? Back in the day? Von Dutch was a hat company that was like this hat, it was a hat company, and it became super popular. They had Von Dutch this and Von Dutch that, and it was everything, right? And it was the same thing with Jerry Sailor. You know Jerry Sailor? It's a very famous brand. Okay, so it's a tattoo artist.
Okay.
But if you look at it, it's a very famous tattoo style brand. Jerry Sailor is the name of it. Okay, so anyways, that guy became a brand. He's dead now, right? But his tattoo style, his whole thing became a brand.
And then that all his little traditional artwork, little things.
Right. I think there's even a whole documentary about this thing and about this guy. It's very cool. It's how a lot of tattoo artists ends up becoming tattoo artists in the first place, and blah, blah, blah. And so that style became him or whatever. And then that guy, and it might not be Sailor Jerry, but the story, that tattoo artist, it basically same thing that happened to like Bob Ross. The guy's not alive anymore, but you can get like, stickers for your refrigerator that you can build a Bob Ross, painting, and you can
get a T-shirt. Yeah, they got the Halloween costume now. Like
it became a brand.
Yeah,
and that brand has become. It's like, look, I don't know if you know this, but Shaquille O'Neal owns James Dean and owns.
Didn't he buy Gold Bond too?
And he bought Gold Bond as well. He's a super genius guy, dude. The guy's not stupid, dude. Yeah. He understands the business of it. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing more. Look, there's another really smart guy that what he does is he goes and finds brands that are dead and then revives them. And it's great because it hooks into the nostalgia part of America and nostalgia. So there's like these old lollipops that used to look like cones that were supposed to be rocket ships or something like this. They were like from the 1950s or something. And it was a brand that was completely dead. And this guy was like, yo, I can manufacture that all over again here in the United States, super cheap. I know that I'm manufacturing, blah, 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 blah. He just has know-how. Bought the brand and brought the thing back, and now T-shirts and logos and stickers and blah 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 became a brand.
That's cool.
And that was what I was talking about when we were talking about becoming a brand, right? Yeah. You have to know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And where you're and like I always say, are you local? Are you national? Or are you an international entity?
Yeah.
And if you are any one of those, you will notice that in your mind, as you think of each one of those, you think of a different way of interacting and reacting.
I see. Interesting. So in what ways?
Think about Disney as a local business only.
Oh.
Think of Disney as only a national company. Yeah. And then think of Disney as an international company, and now bring a situation to Disney, the local company, young girl, goes to Disney and has bad experience, whatever it is, right?
Right. It'd
Local
be like
company might respond in a totally different way than corporate international company that says, the people at Disney feel very bad about the expense that happened here, and we're very...
It's like comparing the Kima Boardwalk to fucking, to
Astro World or something. Like, it's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. And so if you start to think as yourself as the artist, as whether you're a local, national, or international artist, you don't necessarily need to be that artist yet. But if you want to be that artist, you must start to be that artist.
Yeah. Become it. Yeah.
And that means, look, and that's why I mentioned like Cooley Bully, or people who are on the up and rise in Houston, where if you look at it, it's like, oh, you immediately know, okay, there's a character there, there's a thing there, there's a quality there, there's a care there for the type of art that he's going to put out.
Right.
Period. And he will only allow one type. There's another guy who's from Houston. His name's Cody Prophet, magician, also known as Cody Burleson is his real name. And if you look him up and you go to his Facebook page, you will never, ever see anything but perfection in his photo.
Yeah.
He literally goes to like different places in Vegas at like 2 a.m. when he knows that nobody will be in the hallways, and it's like these awesome long shots, dude. And he does photo shoots.
Wow.
He's smart about his time and money. He doesn't put it all out there. He doesn't talk about anything to anyone about his pain, his problems, his emotions, his issues. Nothing. All you see is great food, awesome locations, a beautiful woman, awesome cars, and good clothing. Period. Now, is it like that every day? I doubt it. It's not like that even for billionaires and millionaires, but that's not the point. When he does a show and he does a corporate event, he immediately charges $5,000. Yeah. And they don't bat an eye at saying no. Why? Because his social media says otherwise.
Right. And it really is a numbers game.
And it's also, he doesn't have a huge following either, by the way. He doesn't have a huge following. Doesn't have like 100,000 followers or 3. Doesn't. He doesn't need to. That's not what he said.
He just says, no, this is my price. Yeah.
You found me because somebody told you about me. Right. Not because I use social media. I don't use that. I have it. I have it because I have to.
Right.
Not because I want it. Not because I'm chasing some kind of social media. That's not what I do.
Right.
You definitely don't understand what I do. But what I do is high-end, super intense, corporate, badass magic, which is why that guy who just paid me $10,000 last week told you that if you need somebody amazing at your event, he told you to come to me. And that's why my price is $5,000.
Right.
Sorry.
That's it.
Not sorry. And if you don't want to pay, guess what? Doesn't matter. I've got 10 other shows this next year at $20,000 a piece. So I already made my money this year. I don't need you.
Right. So just hit me up.
Let me know when. Oh, and but when you come back, it's 10 grand.
Yeah.
Because you wasted my time now.
Yeah, and
you wasted my time now. That's it. Boom, done. Done.
Yeah. And it's having like the mindset.
I thought you were here to do business. I didn't think you were here to waste my time. Now you wasted my time. When you come back, it costs you. Don't waste my fucking time next time. And next time, if you come and you do 20 grand, just like the last fucking guy. And guess what? I got 20 grand last time. Because I had another guy just like you on the phone last time.
Right.
And I don't need to waste my time. I'm sorry. This is what I do. I do it very well. I'm one of the best in the world. And if you cannot accept that, I'm sorry. Go hire somebody else and have not the best time that you would have had with me.
Right.
And how do I know this? Because I have a proven track record. That's it. I don't need to come to prove to you. I don't need to. I have 30 years of doing this, sir. I don't need to show you a video of me doing it.
Right.
I already had the world records. I already had my off-Broadway show. I already have the resume. If you want me for your show, hire me. If you don't want me for your show, then don't hire me, and I'll keep getting hired where I keep getting hired and keep making the money I make.
Right. And that's just, it's like,
and that's the mentality you have to have, period. That's the mentality you have to have. And if that's your value system, and that's where you lie, and that's where you show, you can't be a guy on the side of the street, homeless, and showing pictures of yourself homeless and saying, I charge $10,000.
Right. You have to.
You can. Stop. You can.
Well,
but that has to be your brand. That has to be your brand.
Yeah. It has to be a specific thing. Yeah.
That has to be your brand.
Yeah.
That I'm the homeless guy who shows you how I came from homelessness to charging $10,000 a show.
Who's the guy that the gremlin dude that plays the cello on the rooftops? You've seen that dude? He gets a cello. He's like, he's like up on, and that but that's his brand. That's his. It's a niche. It's I don't want to say a gimmick because it's not like
it is.
It's his.
I mean,
art.
it is and it isn't.
It is and it isn't. But yeah, indeed.
I mean, like the kid who's playing on the guitar and he's playing all the notes plus the beating.
And
it's fucking badass, bro. It's a gimmick, but it's badass.
And he does it well, and that's his thing. And
he does it well, and he has the thing, and he can get hired for the next 3 to 5 years, corporate events, private parties, all over the world, getting paid anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 per show. Done. No problem.
Done. Easy.
No problem. Because people will pay that to see that guy because they've seen him on social. And what does it come back down to? It comes down to either A, having really good social media, or B, having really good credit score with other people who have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that credit score that you get, like for instance, my friend just the other day was on a live feed with Aiden Ross.
Oh, wow.
Right? That's fucking huge.
That's huge.
There were 90,000 live viewers watching him perform magic.
Oh, wow.
That's a world record in some way. I bet he doesn't even know it. Like, I just thought about it right now. How many people have seen one magician do a magic trick live on Facebook? 90,000 people. A whole show.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably not that many. It's probably a world record. There's probably a world record there of how many, of all, even during COVID. I doubt there was one magician that did a show with 90,000 people congruently watching a magic show.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's huge. So not only that, then the manager comes to him and says, bro, we loved you. We thought you were really dope. And like, hey, man, do you ever travel to California? We'd love to have you come back and do this again, but maybe, something on some other podcasts. And even on this one again, Aiden loved you. Aiden gave him a huge extra tip. I don't want to say how much, but it was a huge extra tip on top of what he normally charges. And he charges quite a lot for his thing in South Florida. And so then, now I laid into him. I was like, bro, write a letter to the manager, bro. Hey, had a really good time. Just wanted to say thank you to you and Aiden and everybody else who was there. Really, by the way, you also mentioned that, if you ever wanted me to come out or do anything, and that you manage a lot of other people, I'm just wondering, would it be a good time or sometime in the future that we could hang out and talk? I would love to find out how to get into managing, or how maybe you could talk to me about management.
Right. Just get a little, yeah.
And then what happens? That guy goes from being the South Florida well-known magician within this little tiny area, who then all of a sudden goes and he's blowing up because he's on this podcast and that podcast and this for live feed and that live feed, and then he goes to this thing and shoots with Logan Paul and then blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, bro, he's like the new social media magician. Look, a friend of mine, his name's Max Major. Max Major is a hypnotist, magician out of Vegas. And I think about a year and a half ago, he started going out to the monthly art walk and brought a guy with a camera and started filming content of him hypnotizing people in the street. That's it. Wow. Nothing more, nothing less. Just doing simple hypnosis in the street. You're hypnotized. You forgot your name. You're hypnotized. You forget a number. You don't remember your password. Somebody touches you. You don't feel it. You're cold when you're not. Any of those. And bro, he just did Lewis Holmes, the guy from YouTube, has a massive following, and he just did a tour. He did his tour and got to be in front of 20,000 people live at his event. You have speakers and whatever else. He came out and did a talk about hypnosis and blah 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 in a year and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
So growth is there. You can definitely grow. You can definitely build real quick, you know what I mean, and become something quite quickly.
Yeah. And
you just once again you got to do whatever it is.
Time, and also it's being able to. There's a little luck involved. There's always a little luck involved. And I
watched a video yesterday. No, not anymore, Pat. Not anymore. So it's not luck. It's definitely a skill. There's a girl.
Well, yeah.
There's two women. There's two women I just recently watched on YouTube, and one of them says, "I can make any video viral. I can make anything viral," is what she says. And when you say that, you better stand on some laurels to understand what you're saying when you say that. She's like, "Look, let me explain something to you. Shorts, every second counts. Every second counts. That's the first thing you need to know. So you need to know that you need to know your 60 seconds like slicing butter. It's got to be perfect." Okay. Yeah. So she says, if you lose 1 second of retention, so I'm going to give you a board like this. And if you lose 1 second of retention at the very end of your video will not be shown to other people. She went in, cut off the 1 second where it died, and that video went from being seen by only 100,000 views to having 2.8 million views in less than a week.
Oh, wow.
All because of 1 second.
That's crazy.
She then goes and studies everything from Mr. Beast, everything from the top 10 creators, and she goes and she grabs all of the dictation, all of the words, and finds out at what grade level they are talking in the videos. And she found out that all of them are talking at fifth grade and under, and Mr. Beast, who's the biggest in the world, is talking at first grade.
Wow. He's got, dude, there's I've seen his podcast where he's just talking, people are talking about him and they're just he's literally found the formula. He had mastered the YouTube algorithm. He had mastered the art of the clickbait basically, but not where it was the thumbnails that grab attention, that pull people in.
It's what it is. And so because I was just watching him talk about this, he says, if you're going to make short form content, it's got to be the content that you would see or you would think that you were seeing from a thumbnail on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the girl said the same thing, by the way. She's like, the content in the YouTube video that's 1 minute long has to feel like it's a long form video, but that you just shortened and condensed it for the people at home.
Yeah.
So she's like, when I go in to make a video, I think of it like a movie. And I think of every scene of the movie and everything that would happen. And then I just take the beats. Boom, 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 boom. And that becomes my video.
Wow.
And so she says the same thing I say. I just say it a little differently. You're going to tell your story, right? You're going to tell your story. Your music, your song is your story.
Right.
Because it's one thing. Your soap, your slime, your art, your music, your whatever is your story for the video. The route to getting there needs to be playful and not about the song.
Interesting.
Like the song is then the background all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The story now of the arc of how we get there is different. So, for instance, guy walks in, creates a song, and we hear the beats, we hear this, we hear that, and then we hear him rap on top. All of a sudden, now we understand the song that we were trying to promote. We just did it in a way that shows you the process that seemingly happened really quickly, that obviously took him months in a room writing down words and the beats and but he shows it off in 1 minute.
Right.
That's what you have to do. So you have to find the thing, whatever it is that you're promoting, and then find a way to get from A to B, from not knowing to knowing, in some kind of way. And it doesn't always have to be how I built the thing. That's always a good one. Time lapse of me building this art piece to show you the time that it took me to build this art piece, which is why I charge as much for my art piece. There's a video that even talks about that.
Wow.
There's a song that talks about that on YouTube and TikTok.
Oh, wow.
I cost so much because it costs so much, it takes me fucking hours. And it's a song, and people use that song behind a time lapse of them building their art piece.
Yeah, and they did it, and that's where it started, and that
guess who's making the money?
Yeah,
guess who's making the money? The person who made the song.
Yeah, from everyone else's thing that they're using it on.
Hello. Exactly. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a form of marketing for the artist.
Yeah.
It's also a way of the artist going, oh, I see something going on here. Ooh, maybe I can make a song about this, and other people will use this song. I'm just being smart about the art.
Yep.
And the way that you're going to sell yourself. Maybe that girl who wrote that song actually has a phenomenal album. But you would never have found her unless she made the song about it costs so much because it takes me fucking hours song.
Yeah. And boom. Yeah, man.
There's a girl in Houston right now. I think her name is Rachel Winters. She's doing phenomenal on social media. Right? And why? She's following the TikTok trends. And then she'll change it. Like she did one recently. It was really trippy. She's in a shower. It's all white. And she's just there. Her song is in the background. And then the song does some kind of weird thing. And then she vomits green. Like this dark green out of her mouth that just and that thing in her video hit some, I think, 15 million views. Why? Just trippy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just had the art like happening in it. Yeah. Dude. It's man, like people and really like it the fundamental part is like there's a lot of it that's being yourself, you know, and like finding the thing that you want to like, because like you said, you have to be that, like you have to be that, like.
Well, I mean, I'm looking behind you and I see Hunter S. Thompson. If that's not the answer of being yourself in a time when people didn't accept Hunter S. Thompson in any way, shape, or form for who he was. I mean, it wasn't until much later in his life, you know.
Exactly.
And even then, when he would talk, people were very like, "Ooh, what's the crazy man gonna say next?" You know. And there was a power to that, in who he was and who he became, and also in the way that he is remembered in today's world as the psychonaut, as the gonzo reporter, as the, you know, and there's a lot of his influence in today's world.
Yeah.
You know, going back to people who had like major influences in like when I said Tom Green and you're like, who's Tom Green? I'm like, bro, Tom Green. Like if you go look and you go Google Tom Green, young Tom Green videos and young Tom Green podcasts or his old show, you will be amazed at what you see. And you'll be like, holy fuck, this is like 20 something years old. This guy did it before. What's the guy's? There's a black guy. Forgot his name. He's very funny. Afro, and he's a comedian, and he does this show where he like destroys the set in front of people and like fucking kicks and
Andre. Eric
Andre. Eric Andre fucking stole from fucking Tom Green.
Wow.
It's all Tom Green.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. He wanted to have his own like late night show, but he didn't want it to be normal at all.
I've seen this guy. I just don't know.
He was married to Drew Barrymore at one point. He lost his testicle.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, surgery, cancer. It was a big deal, bro. In the 90s, it was a big deal.
Damn, dude. Yeah.
He was a big deal. He was a real big deal. He had his own movie deal. Guy was super famous. Now he lives on a ranch in fucking Canada, bro. He goes live streams on Instagram showing himself feeding horses.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's not as bad as fucking Britney Spears with knives in her fucking living room.
Yeah, Jesus.
Have you seen the videos of people that have taken that video and then put her inside of a hibachi grill?
No, but I saw this one of
hilarious, bro. I'm sorry, dude. It's the funniest thing in the way. I mean, it's like literally they cut the hibachi grill like area where they have her doing the dance routine with the knives, bro. It is fucking stupid. It is so stupid.
I saw one where she was put. Like they've superimposed her on a rave and replaced the knives with glow sticks. Yeah, and it was good. It's fucking funny.
And it's just like you have to feel bad for that kind of intrusion in someone's life.
Yeah,
it's not fun. Bro. It's not fun.
It's like
it's not fun.
The question I've always had is like, why do people care? Like,
because people are invested in I've talked about this. People are invested in the emotions of their lives, and many times, weirdly, music coincides with us because one line or a song emotionally hits certain notes or whatever, and it intrinsically involves us in our lives. Yeah. And so then what happens is fandom can sometimes take over, and then that becomes your source of light for your pain, for your trauma, for this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden you get involved in not just the music, but you get involved in the artist and you want to know more. Right. And then fandom takes over.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of ways that our minds do this thing to us where we get involved in something and then we forget about all these other things. Yeah. And then that becomes our thing. And then when that thing gets taken away, or when that thing gets destroyed, or when that thing dies, or whatever happens in our life, then we have to reconcile with who we are instead of what we were looking at.
To be totally honest, I wouldn't, like there's the theory that's pretty much proven of like any publicity is good publicity. And I've always wondered if I
think it used to be. I think it used to be.
Well, now because cancel culture makes that bad.
This is why I said it used to be.
Yeah, it
used to be that you could take. Well, Logan Paul, on the other hand, has been a very good manipulator of bad publicity. Like the Forest, right? Japanese Forest, which everybody thought, oh my God, Disney star, totally destroys his career, never coming back. And then he subsequently went from being the guy who everybody hated to then slowly getting beat up purposely, I believe, the first 2 times so that people would start to see this. Oh, he's working at it. He's trying something new. He's growing as a person. He's not on drugs anymore. He's not doing these videos anymore. He's creating new content. All positives. Yeah. They're small steps, but they're positive. Then he goes against when he does KSI. His biggest enemy becomes his best friend. Right. This is a social experiment to push on to other people about someone and their ability to grow.
Right.
And then the next step is that he puts out Prime, becomes the #1 drink in the world. Why? Because he has a fucking legion of followers who will buy anything he says.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And it's smart.
Have you tried those, by the way?
He found that out early with his merch. But he realized that merch wasn't something that was viable because you had to keep doing the same thing and making more of it over and over again.
Yeah.
You couldn't just have one set of merch and just buy. You can have one set of drinks and just buy.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, then he has this new start, his new girlfriend, and what do cancel culture and people try to do? Pull him down. What does he do? He not only comes out of it, he has a wife, and now he beat the guy.
Yeah.
So he just went from people who hated him to now totally loved in the WWE, getting to be a boxer, getting to be this performer, getting to be all the things that he wants to be.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone went off.
No, you're fine. And then on top of that, he's still getting to do all the other things that influencers get to do and live the life that influencers get to live. You know?
And he's even more than him specifically. He's like, I mean, shit, dude. He's even more than a influencer, really. I mean, he is.
He's turning into an actor. He's turning into an everything.
I've never exactly liked Logan Paul, not just in general, but I do always give credit where it's due. Is like the man, these people know how to do it, and they do it well.
And they do it well. You cannot,
whether you like it or not. Like me, it's a taste thing. Like it's just like, well, it's not like I've never been into boxing and all that stuff. Like it's just would I watch it if it's there? Yeah, like whatever,
Well, I mean, look, I before we started this thing and we had while we were talking, I was going through and watching the fights. I haven't seen Jake Paul's fight, which he lost. But I would like to go see the Fury Logan Paul Fury fight. I want to see it. So I'm going to go after this. I'm probably going to watch it. And then after this, I have another interview that I'm doing today, which is a catch-up interview. Yeah. And so so it's going to be a late interview. I'll be posting that here right after we do this. But what was I saying?
We're talking about Logan Paul.
Yeah. I'm look, me in general, I like to be aware of the world. Happenings. Yeah, just like I follow Steve Will Do It.
Mm-hmm.
And he even gave me almost $1,000 when I met him in Miami. He was a cool kid, real nice guy. I'd love to have him on the podcast. Just absolute real gem of a kid, really, when you get to meet him.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to meet him for very long. It was maybe only a couple minutes, but I feel that I'm very good at reading somebody and knowing them very quickly. Like I can, yep. I'm in there pretty quickly. And so, yeah, he's a real sweet kid, dude. Like in the end, he doesn't want to show that part of himself off because of course that ruins the brand and everything else. Yeah. But the truth is the kid's just a good kid, young kid. He's only, 20 to 28, 29 years old or something like that. And, so.
I mean, dude, everyone's people. I mean, no matter what, I don't care who you are. Everyone has their human side, unless you're just a straight up sociopath or something crazy.
Yeah. And there's lots of those.
There's lots of those too. a lot of, corporations are like that. But they're, they're not human. We are, and that's,
Well, yeah. I mean, and I mean, I had a hardcore on one of those. So yeah, it's a lot, I'm sorry. There's a lot of messages coming here on the back end, and I'm trying to find them. Yeah, but look, man, they say it, especially a lot in magic. Or just in show business in general. Show business is two words. One is bigger than the other. You should pay attention to the bigger word.
Yeah.
Because in the end, show can be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the guy. Look at the guy. If you want to talk about show can be anything, look at the guy who did the teacup on his crotch, and then he would tip. Yeah. He's made an absolute career out of that.
Literally.
A career. He's been on every major Got Talent show around the world. He's traveled. He's seen things he probably would have never seen. And he was smart about the business.
Yeah, and he did it, and he marketed it well, and he stuck with it, and he did it, and he made the content and kept getting creative with it and in putting it in different.
I don't know if you ever. Yeah, no, it's smart. I don't know if you ever saw on one of the shows, but it was a team of people that would wear LED lights that could change different colors.
Oh yeah,
they would all be all black.
Uh-huh.
My friend's sister is the girl who created that system.
Oh wow!
And she ended up becoming a multi-millionaire. By licensing her system to all these different shows in Vegas, in Dubai, in China, and bro, absolutely insane.
That is insane.
She was so smart about it, and just absolutely just smart about the business. And it goes back down to saying that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You just, and as an artist in today's world, as a musician in today's world, the barrier to entry is very low. Look at Tom McDonald. Not the greatest rapper in the world. Has sold 14 million albums. Has gone platinum. Has gone gold or platinum.
Yeah.
Has gone gold or platinum 14 or 15 times, something like that. Has done it all by himself. Has done it without a manager, without an agent, without anything. It's just his girlfriend and him.
Wow.
And as of the last 2 years, he started doing major collabs with a bunch of different artists and a bunch of different rappers. And then his girlfriend is a videographer, and she shoots these content style videos. And with that and that look and his rapping, he has become a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
So you can do it. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that it's there, bro.
It's there. You just have to.
Bro. There's a mentality shift that must happen in the mind of the person who is trying to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you're an entrepreneur.
It's more business than it is. Yeah.
Right. It's a business, dude. It is a business. Look at Kiss. Yeah. It is a business to them. They sell the licensing of Kiss.
Right. And they made like a whole style and a whole everything. They give you all this.
And what do? They know what fandom truly is. They understand the science of fandom. Yeah. And what are you doing? You're creating, and we talked about this in another episode. It was yesterday. You're creating a mascot for other people to connect to. Nike is a mascot for people to connect to. And since they don't have mascots, they hire famous artists of their sports to then be the mascots of their shoes.
Right.
It's
all a collaboration. It's like
right. And so like think of Foo Fighters. If you go back to Foo Fighters and you go to any one of their old videos, they're doing this thing where they're playing characters. There's even one where they're in a airplane and they play all the characters inside of the airplane, and while they're flying, they're the pilots and they're also the passengers and they're also the And what are we talking about? We're talking about, and so why are you doing that? Okay, the psychology behind it is that you are getting to play with the people that you know in a world that they've created. Look at OK Go. That is a damn good example of what I just said. They used their music, and then they used these different videos where everything is in one shot, or everything's in play, or something's going on, but the song is getting played.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's like that. What was that one where they filmed the whole music video, and like the amount of time it took to shoot the video was like 3 seconds, but it was in slow-mo.
And it was like 50,000 times slower than it was supposed to be, or something like that.
And
or 10,000 times slower.
And they
it
made
was
it all.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they were actually able to get the words and everything, like somehow weirdly. It was a very cool video. Then the other one that they did when they were in a car, and the car had all these things like sticking out of it, and they drove on a course, and as they were driving on the course, it was like hitting the piano, and then it was hitting the beat, and then they were driving and singing, and they're on this driving course. It's like, what the fuck? Like, but what is that? What were we talking about earlier? It's the thing that we're getting talking about, right? Music. And how do we get from A to B? OK Go found that right there.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, that's cool. Now we can do another song where we do, I don't know, one of those, what are they called? The devices where one thing moves and the next thing does and the next thing moves. And they did a video like that. A Goldberg
Goldberg machine.
So so it's like they found a niche that was theirs, that they could nobody else was doing it. And what did they start off with? They started off with 4 treadmills.
I remember
that's how they started off. That was their first video. They got to do one where they were in a plane and the people were flying and things were getting thrown and balls and then, all because of one concept, one simple concept, which was, we're going to do this really cool video where we have these 4 treadmills.
A lot of the ideas are simple. Like they really are. They really are as simple as a treadmill, or as like a teacup on your balls that you
on your balls.
Like,
I mean, no, but once again, that's the show, and then there's the business.
Yeah. And it's doing.
And if you watch it carefully, you can see that the people who understand the business of it understand how to take a niche and how to keep going with that niche and going with that niche and growing with that niche, and not becoming artisans, but becoming artists. And what do I mean by that? An artisan keeps creating the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay.
An artist evolves the idea over and over and over and over again.
Right. Where it's
there's a huge difference between the two, right? One is making the same cup every day, and one is extending cup to be something different every day.
Yeah.
Period. So there's a difference between an artisan and an artist. An artisan in the music world would be a cover band.
Yeah.
Not session, maybe step above or two of a cover band, by all means, because you can put that guy in any room, in any recording studio, in any style, and Neil Peart or whoever on the drums, he's never heard the song before. Gets 15 seconds of the song, and they go, "Okay, now play," and he goes, "No problem."
Well, a lot of times they can be given music to play,
right?
Like they're just artisans at like sight reading, or knowing their instrument,
or even dare I say it, a wedding band kind of thing, right? They're doing the same 15 or same 100 songs, whatever. They're artisans. They're not artists. A cover band that's like a Led Zeppelin cover band. Artisans, not artists.
Right.
Are they career performers? Yes. Are they making $100,000, $200,000 a year? Yes. But are they? No.
Right. They don't.
No.
It's not the.
They don't hold weight. They don't hold weight, and they won't be remembered.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They don't hold weight, and they will not be remembered. Why? Because they are not following the rules of engagement for that to happen.
I mean, so where does the line draw between like taking inspiration from?
Nothing's new. Stop
nothing
it. Nothing
is new. That's the thing. I know.
There's nothing new. So then So then to say that anything's, and then also to also say that I'm original because I'm human. Go fuck yourself. I mean, and I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that, right? Because I put that in the most lightest of terms, because you shouldn't be that grotesque as an artist.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that that's very grotesque.
So
I'm better
like,
than
well,
you,
I'm better,
or that I have some kind of something than you. No, what you have is time and energy and dedication to something for a long period of time that you've absolutely adored and cared about, and when you do it, it shows.
Yeah,
that's something different. That's not better than somebody.
Yeah,
that's I worked really fucking hard at this.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to be verbose.
And I think that's like people get that because they're like they see as like like success is what makes better, and it's not like it's an objective thing. It's like you can have
absolutely objective, right? Because for one guy, success is getting out of poverty and never being poor again, and success for somebody else is seeing other people get to see their dreams become reality,
and or just like happiness, like, oh, that me doing this made me happy and that made me feel successful and I feel successful now because it's the definition of it is different for every person,
and it's based on your life, right? It's based on your life and what you've done and what you haven't done and what you've accomplished,
what you want to do with it. And what you want to do with it, like,
and it comes to the understanding that at some point you understand that the only thing that there is to give to others something that you learned.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all that there is here to do. It's pollination. It's literal pollination.
Yeah.
And it's pollination of behavior when with yourself and with others.
Yeah.
That's really all that it is.
Yeah, I agree.
And how you can be respectful by communicating your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, using one of these things that we're talking about as an apparatus, i.e. your music or your art or your clothing or whatever, as a way to promote a way that you're thinking or a way that you're feeling about the world around you.
Yeah.
Because that's all we're doing is regurgitating what we see.
So it's funny that The World Around You is actually the name of my band, and that's like the reason we like chose the name is just because we thought it was like cool to Yeah, how cool is that? That's so fucking cool that you said that. Dude, that's
And
crazy.
on that note, my friend Pat, what are you guys working on right now that's new, that's fresh, or where people can find you and see shows live? And what's that going on?
As of right now, we are, like I said, it's pretty much a indefinite hiatus due to we've got members that have moved out of state. So it's a hiatus for now, but right now I've been working on a lot of solo stuff and trying to like push that off. But we're in a weird phase. It's just a weird phase. So it's
I mean, if that's the case, right? I mean, me as an artist, I can't allow the world around me to dictate my art.
Yeah.
And so hence this show, right? I have to create. Yeah. And so even if I have what I feel like is nothing, I'm going to make something out of that nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find a way to make it happen. So with that being said, I wouldn't worry about it anymore and I would just move on.
Yeah.
And if the universe brings it back to you, then so be it. Exactly. I wouldn't even think about it anymore. I would be a David Bowie motherfucker and start creating.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been that's why I'm starting. That's why I'm like super excited to start doing this open mic so that I can bring, dude, I've been going to this coffee shop for like 2 years now. And there's people, they literally have a piano inside and a guitar that they just let people play. And it's like, people come there and I see these talents and it's like, hey, you've made this place where like people are doing this. Like, let's showcase it. Let's make a thing out of it. Let's showcase the community and it will build even bigger. And that's what I want. Like, that's kind of why I just started my degree for audio engineering and I want to go into more of like the making the event, not necessarily being the artist, but the event itself is an art piece. Like the light, the sound, like that, other than just the show, like you were saying with the video, like with TikToks and stuff, it's like, you have this other aspect and it's all as one piece. It's a conglomerated piece, the whole thing, whether it be the Red Hot Chili Peppers did a concert at Minute Maid. Well, they had like the craziest light show and the craziest graphics that and all these people made these things, and together as the whole, it is the art, and they're all equally important. And
exactly,
that's why.
And I was going to say that to you. While we were before you said what you're saying about wanting to produce, is that I was like, well, it sounds like you're really kind of walking away from wanting to be the artist. Like it sounds like but it's a really good place to come from as well. It's a place of like, if you were to take this and do this correctly, right, and come in as your own company to him and say, look, I'm my own company, my own production company, make your own LLC, spend $150 in Delaware, whatever it is, do it in Delaware though. Delaware. Because it gives you better tax and it gives you better rights. And
interesting.
Yeah, look it up. But so then create an LLC and then come to him and be like, look, I'm going to be, I'll be the business that helps you run this thing. So you don't even have to, you just run your coffee shop, bro. And while you're running your coffee shop, I'll be over here on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and I'll be doing this. We'll have on Thursday this, on Thursday it's open mic. On Friday it's a comedy show. On Saturday it's a band. On Sunday it's church reunion, and we have people come in and
they're closed on Sundays.
Closed on Sundays, so I'll be here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
And then you spend the rest of your week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday, setting up the shows, setting up who's going to be there, and then you go there those 4 days out of the week, and you ask for $100 a day.
Yeah,
you're making $400 a week, so you're making $1,200 a month, doing the thing you love. Maybe more. 200. Ask for 200 a day. Ask for 200 a day, so it's 800 a week. Ask for 1,000 a week. Fucking 4,000 a month. 40. You know what? Yeah, it's 52,000 a year, right? Something like that. No. 48.
Math.
No, 48.
Math.
4,800 a year.
Yeah.
$48,000 a year to do what? To run a coffee shop thing and do it right? Sure.
And make it like where it doesn't have to necessarily eat into his. Like make it where it's like, well, I grew it, and like people.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like if you can create the right business plan and create what I said to you about all the other things, the board in the back, and be able to do things and rent out the space and have a calendar, and in that calendar set times where you're already set with your business time, your schedule, your thing that you're doing for him, and then all this other space and time that's not being used during business hours that could be rented out for meetings, for corporate, for whatever, for this, for rehearsal space, for whatever. And even if it's a small amount of money, all the way to $400 or $500 for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
That comes with coffee and drinks and blah 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 that he supports because he's making money off of bringing in an extra $500 in an hour he would never had any money.
Right.
And then you just make your $50K a year, and then anything above board that's super that you bring in. Maybe you do an event. You bring in the School of Rock. You bring in some banks. You bring in some local Nassau Bay area businesses in the parking lot. You guys do once a month a big festival, like bring in vendors, charge the vendors each $50 to $75, have a stage outside, bring in the fire department and the police for free because they're going to come and do it because you're doing a thing for the community. Bring the mayor in, bring in the whoever, a judge, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Bring in something that brings in community based for that whole area, that brings in business for the area and artists of the area. And you do that once a month, and then you have a farmer's market that comes through.
Yeah, and Irma's is already right there too. Sure, I don't know if you know about Irma's, but yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You connect to it.
Indeed.
And then you have that flourishing starts to happen there. It becomes its own garden, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Indeed.
All right, well, Pat, let's do it. How do people find you? Can they get to your social media? What are your ways to find you on music?
I'm mostly so music. We're on Spotify. Just if you go on, honestly, the easiest way. I know you're streaming to everything, but my Facebook, just Patt Sloan, is like the easiest place to. Find me.
But I mean, if I wanted to
all the links are in the Facebook. I have if you go to my main page on Facebook, you'll see the links. Or if you go to my...
But it's Spotify.com/what?
Oh, The World Around You. That's like our Spotify. Or YouTube. We're on YouTube too. Or you do The World Around You.
The World Around You.
Yes.
The world around you. The world around you.
Did I give you some of those links earlier?
I think you did, and it's actually probably in the description for anybody who's watching. But what I wanted to do was create a banner, and it didn't do it. Just now did it. All right, let me turn my camera off. Hold on.
There you go. I'm
gonna do it right.
Here, I'm gonna join the public chat, and then I can.
Yeah, and so it says it's Spotify.com /
There we go.
You and another one in the stream. Oh, come on, people. Come on.
Let's see here. But yeah, we're Spotify. We're on, I mean, you know, the usual things. I just posted a link to our YouTube channel, which actually,
thank you, man.
Yeah, I posted it in the comments. So if
but I wanted to do this right here where it came across the board. Bam, there we go.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so it's there on the screen, so the people who see this later on in life or watch it on video or whatever later on, they can actually see it. You know, that kind of thing. I try to be awesome. But man, thank you, Pat, for being on and hanging out with me for the show today. I really appreciate you, man.
I think it's a really cool thing you're doing, and I'm glad to support it. And I hope I hit up. I have a friend who's he's studying medicine right now, and he was like, dude, I'll get up there and like talk about like his experiences with like med school. And so I was like, dude, do it. It's like he's doing the thing. I'd love to have that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's do it. Cool, man. Well, once again, Pat, thank you so much for being on the show today and your time. And I'm sure everybody's saying thank you as well for you being on. So we'll see you later, man. We'll see you on the other side.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, later. Oh my God, we did it. We did it. Episode 36. Oh, where is it? It's still there. Episode 36. We did it. And by the way, for those of you who are watching, super excited again because I'm going to do another episode today. For those of you who are watching, that's episode 37. I will be doing that one later on today here in a bit. I will be posting about that. But what an episode, right? Another beautiful lesson and how it all came together at one point was like super cool. So yeah, man, guys, please go out into the world, do something nice for somebody else. If you can't do something nice for yourself, it does start with you. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff, because if you do, kind of end up crazy. And number 3, if you don't mind, please like, share, subscribe, send this out to somebody who'd like to see it. And by the way, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. I really do appreciate you, and I will see you all on the other side.